Welcome to Soul Quest. I'm super excited for this episode because I have the wonderful Naomi Haigh, who I've been taking mediumship classes with, and it's been amazing, just profound. The things that she teaches and that all that I've been opening up to. So I just want to share your work with the world. And so thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sharon. And I love teaching classes, especially people like you, where it's like you just want more and you want more. And I'm like, yes, this is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, there's the people that, have a little bit of interest and they come in and then they leave, and then there's those that are like, "I'm in for the full ride."
Yes,
That's
yes, absolutely. Definitely a difference for sure.
yeah. So I know you're into astrology, so can you tell us your, major parts of your natal chart?
Yeah, so I'm an Aries sun, a Aquarius moon, and a Cancer rising. So, yep.
Oh, awesome.
And I don't have any Earth in my chart. 0 Earth.
That's right,
Well,
I love
0 planets in Earth signs, like,
Uh-huh.
no pla
Okay. Well, let's see. And where's your, Midhaven?
it's in Aries,
Okay.
so,
Oh, yeah.
yep.
Wow. You
Yeah,
go.
Aries, 10th house, Sun, stellium. I have, um, Venus, the Sun, and Mars all 1 degree apart from each other in Aries in my 10th
Mm,
house. So, yep, fun
wow.
stuff. Lots of fire energy, which is
Yeah.
funny because people are always like, "I love how grounded you are," and I'm like, "I have, like, 0 earth in my chart." Like, that's okay. I mean, I'll take it, but I don't know how.
The
Yep,
groundedness coming from, the fire, the bottom of the fire or something. Uh,
maybe.
wha Do you know your human design?
I dabble a little bit in that, so I'm a self-projecting projector, 2-4, self-projecting projector.
Oh,
Yep.
love it.
So
I
I
love
think the 2-4 in human design is probably what makes me chill because it's like
yeah,
there's one that's like hermit and yeah, I
that's a
don't know.
2.
2
Yeah, I
yeah,
have 2.
okay.
I have a 2 as well in my profile.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
I
so
love
more even.
projectors.
That's
Seriously, like,
awesome.
I bond with projectors really well. I'm a manifester.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Cool.
I guess I don't know many manifestors, and so I guess they work together, like, really well, but I'm like, I actually don't know any, like, too well, so that's cool.
Yeah, cool. So, I know you have so many cool stories, but I would like to start in the beginning. What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? What was your family life like? And your abilities, were they coming online when you were a child?
Yeah, so I grew up in Brigham City, Utah, so, small town, um, everybody knows Utah as being, like, Mormons but my family wasn't. We didn't grow up Mormon, but we still had, of course, the Mormon influence, in the town, but my family didn't really have, like, any specific religion, and we weren't, like everybody was just kinda open to believing whatever they wanted to believe, so um, that's always been my take on religion is just like I'm always curious about religion and even growing up, I was always curious about what was out there to believe and curious about what other religions believed and so even when I was young, I would I would have different types of friends from different faiths and I would go to their churches like to visit and just to listen and hear like, well, what are they saying and does anything catch my attention or do I feel any truth to that, you know? And so I think and I didn't feel like my spiritual gifts were open per se, like I didn't sense spirit like I do now or anything like that, but I was just always curious, like curious about beliefs and about the spiritual aspect of things and um just wanted to learn, learn more and um when I would visit different churches, like, I would catch a little something that would, like, click with my heart and be like, "Ooh, there's something there." But then there'd be a lot of things that are like, I don't feel that's true for me, like, "No, I don't feel like that's true for me." And, um, we'd have, like, different missionaries come over to and I would like, my mom and grandma would be like, "No, we're not interested," but I'm like, "Hold on, I wanna hear, like, I wanna hear what they have to say," and I was curious, and so, um, that was something that was always just innate within me. And then, um I guess, like, I started to get into astrology, like, when I got into my teens, older teens, because I would notice, when you're dating, I say that
Mhm.
in quotation marks because it's like sometimes when you're that young, you're just like, "Oh, we're dating," but really you're just, like, hanging out at lunch and then that's it. Like, "That's my boyfriend." But, but I always was curious why certain people got along with other people and some people didn't get along with other people, and like I would have friends that would get along with a certain person but then I didn't like them or vice versa. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. Like there's got to be something out there that, kind of has something to do with that, like explains that in some way. It can't just be, oh, just because that was something that answer never hit at all when I was growing up. Like, don't just tell me that's the way it's supposed to be or just because I will keep digging until I find out why. Like, why is this just because? Um, but I got into astrology. One of my friends, was dabbling in it, and she was just, I would do things and she'd be like, "Oh, you're such an Aries," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" So she started telling me, and so I started learning about my sign, my sun sign first, and then I started looking at how an Aries works together with the other signs. And so I just got to know, and it all just clicked really well for me. Like it made astrology just made sense in my brain when I would read about it. And so I got to know like what signs are best for me to date and what signs are not so great, or but always how to like how every sign can work together with the other signs. It's just a matter of like how do you meet each other halfway?
Right.
So I feel like every sign can get along with the other signs. It's just you have to like know how the other ones interact and how to meet each other halfway. And so I thought that was pretty cool that astrology kind of had um a process, so to speak, of like why people were they with the way they were to a point. Um And so just kept diving into that as I was growing up, but, I still haven't fully dug deep into astrology, which is funny because 'cause I've been connected to it for so long, but I still just, like, feel like I just dabble in it. I
Yeah.
listen a lot and I catch a lot of things that come through, but I still don't know how to fully read, like, all the aspects, all the I know how to read a birth chart, like, overall, but then when it comes to, like, the aspects or what's happening with the
Yeah.
planets right now and your natal chart, I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But that's, like, most of my upbringing was yeah, I was just kind of really curious all the time about things and just trying to be as open-minded as I could. Like, I never felt like one religion or one belief system was over any other. Like, anytime I heard that, it was just an automatic, like, "That's not true." Like, I don't feel like that's true. And so I was always just kind of open and searching for like a bigger truth that resonated with me. But I did see that religion had merit with other people, like other people found their connections to, whatever they believed in, and that was cool. And so I didn't discount any religion. Like I feel like every religion has validity because there are people that find their connections that way. And so it's like that's awesome. But I'm still just very open-minded to whatever people believe, but I'm just curious. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I love just being a lifetime learner of all of that, like the spiritual stuff. But
Yeah.
with astrology, my 12th house is in Gemini, so I want all the information. So, yep.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I can relate. The same way growing up, I was just curious in religion. Like you said, there's times when it would hit your heart, and I definitely had those moments in church because my parents did make me go to church. Uh, and it was usually when people were singing that I would
Mm,
feel that connection of, oh, there's something here. But then I'd be like, how do we know this is true? Nobody was there to teach me how to have faith, is what it was. Like,
mhm.
how was I to know that this is true? Because I was having that scientific mind. It was like the scientific mindset that would go back and forth with the heart with me. Like, I would be into astral projection, but then I was like, wait, how do we know this is true? Just, but I think that curiosity is such a healthy way to live. Just being open and curious and knowing that everybody's truth is their own, and you're finding your truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then so then when did you notice that, you were starting to feel, like into other realms and other entities?
Yeah. Well, I know that there were, of course, different points in my life where I would get some intuitive hits, and I never really knew what that was, but, like, when I got pregnant with my first son, I I was just laying in bed, and I was literally only, like, 3 weeks along, like, no signs, physically, like, and I didn't have a regular period, so I didn't even know, like, when my period would come,
Were you
but
trying? Were you trying to get pregnant?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
I was
okay.
in high school, so
Oh, okay. So you had no
yeah.
idea.
No idea, um, because I had irregular periods, my doctors were always like, "It's gonna be really hard for you to get pregnant," and I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Heard that, yeah.
Um, so I thought that was a, pass to be like, "YOLO."
Yeah,
No, it's not. So for people that are young and listen,
I know.
it's not a pass.
I've known several people that were told that by doctors in the past.
Right? I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go take this baby to their doorstep and be like, mhm, like, not as hard as you thought, huh?" But anyway, but I just remember, like, moments, throughout my life where it would just be little moments, but, where, like, with that, I was just laying in my bedroom listening to music like a teenager. I was 16, and I just got this knowing, it just hit me really hard, and it was like, "You're pregnant," and I kind of heard it, like, in my head, and I was just like, "Wait, what?" And I was just
Oh,
but I couldn't argue with it because I just knew, like, deep down, I knew it was true, but I didn't know how it was true. Well, I knew the semantics, of course, but, like, how did this just come in as a truth? Like, I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't worried about it. Like, and it just popped in. And so I just remember, like, getting up, and I was started crying because I just knew it was true and I didn't know how. And, my mom came into my room for just to ask me something, and I was just like, like freaking out, like crying, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I just need to go for a walk." And so, I left, and we lived pretty close to my high school, and so I just went down to high school and ran some laps, like I had to run, just to get it out. But then when I came back, my mom intuitively just knew too. She's like, "You think you're pregnant, don't you?" And I'm like, "How did you know?"
oh,
We
wow.
didn't even talk about any of this, like, how is all this happening right now?
Wow.
And then sure enough, it showed up on the pregnancy test, but when I went and had, like, the ultrasound and the blood test, they were like, "You're only 3 weeks along, like, how did you even know that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So
Wow.
it was just, like, little things like that, but I still didn't feel like I was super open, and I guess I did always have, like, a lie detector, like, attached to me, like, I could tell when someone was lying, like, right as soon as they started, lying about something, I'm like, that's not true." Like, but I wouldn't always call them out on it, but I just can tell, like, vibes and stuff, or when people had different intentions, like, I could kinda get a feel for that, right off, like, yeah, I don't need to be around that person, and my friends would be around them, and they're like, "Why don't you like them?" I'm like, "It's not that I don't like them. I don't need to be around them. I don't know why. I just don't need to be around them." And then they would find out why later, and something would happen with that person, and they're like, you know, not good or did something bad or sleazy or something, and it's like, yeah, that's why I didn't need to be around. So I'd get little things like that, but I felt like it definitely happened in the beginning of 2017, so way later in life, and um I was uh uh, I would say like 2016. I was working in corporate America. I was a business analyst for a financial company, and so mainly working remotely, and we had just moved to St. George, Utah, and um I just kept getting this feeling like every once in a blue moon, like it would be once every few months or so, but it was just this big feeling would just rush in, and it would be like something is about to happen, something big's about to happen, and you need to be ready. And I would kind of hear it, but it was like in my own voice in my head. And then I would get the feeling like a big rush. And I was like, what is that? And I would tell my husband, like, okay, I'm getting this weird feeling, and it told me this. And he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. and, but I just kept getting it throughout 2016, just here and there, here and there. Um, and I wasn't loving my job, like, it was cushy, like, I went through I was a single mom growing up for until he was, like, 9, and then I met my husband, and, um but I put myself through school and through college, and, got business degrees and got a MBA and a master's in HR, and so, went the whole corporate route, and then I landed in a good job and great benefits, all the stuff, and, so I thought that's where I was landing, like, that was the plan, right? And and then here's this energy just being like, "Something big's gonna change," and I'm like, "Wait, what is this? What's happening?" And, I just never knew every time I got it, like, what it was, and so finally, um the maybe 4th time that I felt that, I told my husband again, I'm like, "There it is again," and he's like, "Well, maybe you need to go get your energy balanced." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I had never heard of it before, and he was like, "Yeah, there's people that do that." I'm like, Who does that? Like, what is this?" Like, it was just
Oh my
so foreign to me, and
that's
he's
funny.
like, "There's people that do that." I'm like, "Okay." And so I just, went about my life, and but at the time I had met up with a local women's group. It was a women's entrepreneur group, and I wasn't an entrepreneur, but I was in business, and so, I was trying to make friends. We'd just moved to St. George, and so I didn't know anybody, so I was like, I'm going to go hang out with these people, and the person that ran it, she had an online community as well, like Facebook group, and so one day I was just kind of scrolling through her Facebook group, and um somebody on there posted that she was a Reiki master, and I was like, "What in the world is that?" Like, I've never heard of that before. So I googled it, and it was like energy balancing, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what my husband was talking about." So then I googled, it was all in the same day, like I googled Reiki in St. George, and one person came up, and so I called her and booked a session for the next day. And then later on that same day, I went to a yoga class that I found online, and it was just me and the instructor, and we did the whole class just by ourselves. And then afterwards, we talked, and she said something about energy, and I was like, I know about energy now. I just found out about Reiki. And anyway, long story short, I went to the Reiki session the next day, and it just blew my mind. Um, the sensations that I felt that I couldn't comprehend analytically in my head, logically in my head. Um, it At one point she had flipped me over on the table so that I was laying on my stomach, which is rare, um, and then she was working on my back, and it felt like this big tornado just came out of my back. Like, it felt there was so much energy, and I couldn't move, and I just was like telling myself, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. And it's like, what's going on? And then it subsided, and she kind of moved her hands back in, as soon as that subsided, I just flipped around and I was like, "What did you just do?" I need to know everything, and I had to know everything about it. And so, I asked her if she taught Reiki, and she said she didn't teach at the time, but then I remembered the yoga lady that I met, and I was like, "Hey, she knows about Reiki." Um, 'Cause she told me that she did Reiki too, and, so I reached out to her and asked her if she would teach me, and so I started mentoring with her with Reiki, and I went through all the levels of Reiki, and so I'm a Reiki master practitioner as well, but as I was learning and practicing Reiki on other people, that's when my mediumship opened up. So I would start to feel presences come into the room as I was working on somebody, and I would mainly just get like that feeling like someone was standing behind me, but I couldn't see them, but I knew somebody was there. And then I would hear a few words like go to their arm, go to their leg, like help help them release this. And it would just be little prompts to help me through the Reiki session. Um, and it would come in as again like a voice, but it wasn't my voice. It was like a neutral voice, almost like a thought in my head, but I wasn't thinking it. But I could just kind of hear it in my own neutral voice in my head.
Yeah.
And so I just started uh, getting more curious about that, and I felt like uh, that could be developed. But the lady that I was working with, she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's just a spirit or a guide, you know." And I'm like, "Well, how do I get better at connecting?" And she's like, "You just keep doing it, you know." And I'm like, "No, I want to get good. Like, I want to get, I feel like I could get good at this." And so, I sought out a teacher and because I had never had a mediumship session before, like I never worked with a medium. And so, I went to a medium and had a session. And then I asked her if she taught how to, open up your mediumship skills. And she did. So I worked with her for a little bit and developed for a few months, and then I was like it just came in so fast, the remembering and, what I was able to do and how I was able to do it just rushed in so quick, and, I was pretty much on par with her within, like, a couple months, and then I was like, "I want more," and so she told me about one of her mentors, and so I worked with him for a year, and yeah, just got
Wow.
to hone in my gifts and learned how to do audience readings, and that's been really fun. But then I just found out that as I was doing readings on people that I had a knack for being able to see how they move energy, how they connect, um when they're connecting, when they're not connecting to spirit, uh and how to help them open up their gifts more. And I could walk people, like I was like walking with them side by side, um, connecting with spirit. And so then I just started teaching. So yeah, it's been
Oh,
crazy journey.
amazing. You're really good at it. And what I love about, well, first of all, the story about how came and found you is okay. It was back in March. I was going through like a healing of something that happened in the past. And I was like, I need a medium, like someone that doesn't cost like $300, and I went and I Googled medium, connect with loved ones. I've done a lot of psychic readings with people, but I don't really get ancestors coming through that much. I guess because I just don't ask. I don't know, but
Mm,
I just wanted someone that's really good at mediumship, and I saw, I came across the Utah blog. I guess it was on Facebook. It was like an open group, and everybody was saying how they love you. And I went to your page, and you had your prices lowered for a bit, like.
mhm,
And it was okay, so get this, the number 55
mhm.
was my pager, like, back in pager days when you had, like, a code, my code was 55, and so the loved one that I was trying to connect with, I knew him but before he passed, I had paged him, and I'm sure I had that 55, so I felt like he was,
Oh,
like, saying, "Here, this is her." 'Cause he
that's
put that
awesome.
55 there. I was like, "This is her." So I booked you immediately, and that was the most helpful mediumship reading I've ever had. Like, I've had a couple where my ancestors come through, but they weren't very clear, it was, like, kind of like, "Oh, I don't know," but you just, like, hit it out of the ballpark. Like, I felt like I was sitting there with him.
That's
And
awesome.
the
I love that
energy was
story.
just, like, so healing. Like, I was able to kind of move through that hump that I was going through and just be like, "Okay, now I have a new relationship with him." Like, I could feel him. After that, I could feel him on the
Mm,
other side, um, as this more
yeah.
advanced soul that I was compared to when I was 20, So, it was a really cool feeling, and I'm so grateful. And then I saw your mediumship classes, and that's something that I'm always looking to do, so I immediately signed up for your classes, and I've gone through 2 of them, 2 levels, so I'm looking forward to level 3 at the end of July. So,
Yes. That's awesome.
would
I
you
love that.
yeah, it's so cool stories how people find each other.
Well,
So,
and
I would
part of
yeah,
my part of my, process with my business is working with spirit, and that's one thing that I've really come to know about all this is not it doesn't have to just be separate from your life. Like, our ancestors can fully be involved with things and helping us even though they're past. Like, they have a lot of pull here still. So
Mhm.
one thing that I've done with my business, because I don't like marketing very much. Like, I don't like social media posting as
Yeah,
much, like, just to post, you know? Um, but so what I did was I'm like, okay, spirit, if you want me to um, do this work and this is what I'm being called to do, then I want you to help me get the people that are ready for me to connect with me and that will resonate with the way that I teach, the way that I do my sessions, and you bring them to me and then I'll show up in the session or in the class. Like, that's what
I
I'm
love
going to
that.
do, but I need you to go find them in whatever way you want to and whatever awesome, you know,
Yeah.
mystical
Oh,
ways you connect them to me. Like, just show up. Just have
yeah.
them show up and I will show up. And so I love hearing stories like that from people, like, "Here's how I found you, and it was so crazy," and it's like, not that crazy." It's like,
I
yeah.
know, it's like it's normal in your life, right? But it's like it's still really cool to listen to.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still amazed at, like, how awesome spirit is to, yeah, like, point people in the right directions, that they need to be in. But it really goes off of intention too. Like, if someone has an intention to call something into you, into yourself, like, you can totally ask ancestors, guides, all that stuff to help you,
Mhm.
and it's like it just magnifies that and pulls it in. So it's
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah, and it's been so fun taking this class. It's just so fun. I'd rather pay for classes in mediumship and psychic intuitive development than go to, like, a fancy dinner. I'm like, this is my hobby. This is what no, I don't wanna play pickleball. I wanna develop my skills in here.
Yes.
It's
I love
so
it.
fun. Oh, and just, like, a fun part of the class that I'm just gonna, share with the audience is the one time in the first level, um, when I was reading for someone, and I won't mention his name, but I'm sure he'll watch this. Um, I'm sure he doesn't mind if we mention his name, but his grandfather came through, right? And I was, like, trying to say he's he's like, like one of those men that are, like, drinking beer and, like, kinda being loud, obnoxious, and you're like, "You mean like a thug?" And I was like, "Yeah, like,
Ah,
you totally felt him." And
uh-huh.
so I was like, "Yeah, that's the word, I just didn't know if I wanted to say it." Like It was a fun that was, like, such a fun reading because I was really feeling his energy, and I was like, "Oh, that is, like, super cool that I was able to tap into this man's energy, and I could, like, totally feel how he lived his life and what his
Mhm.
personality was like." It was so cool.
Yeah, and the student was like, "Yeah, he was a thug."
Yeah. Yeah, he was, like, in one of the biggest motorcycle gangs or something, he said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so cool, so fun. So,
It
I would
is,
love
it's
it
fun
if
stuff.
you would show the audience how you work by tapping into one of my ancestors, whoever would like to come forward.
Yes, for sure. And just, so people know, like, every medium is different and the way that they connect, and so if you think that you're a medium and you don't do it the way that I do it, don't think that you're not a medium because everybody does it different. So I just want to preface with that, um, because I'm again like fully into like people being unique and doing things in their own way, and so this is just how I do it. So don't think that you have to do it my way or it's not going to work because you can do it in your own way and it'll work. Um,
Okay.
Okay. So and still my strongest gift is hearing, so I'll hear more and my feeling. I sense through feeling a lot. I do get pictures and visuals now, more than I have before, but it's still not my strongest. And then and I don't see spirit like as if they're standing next to me or by me. Like I just every once in a while will get a picture of like long hair or mustache or something, and it'll just be really quick and then it'll go away. So almost I'm almost never able to like see the full visual of how someone looks. Um, I won't say never because I have a few times, but it's rare. So yeah, but all right. So let me see who wants to come forward for Sharon. And I basically just first of all, setting up my own energetic space. You can call it your aura, you can call it your bubble, whatever you feel like, you know, you call your own energy. I just kind of separate my energy from everything else that's around me. And then I ask for a past loved one to come forward for Sharon, that wants to connect and deliver a message to her. And then I open up my senses to see what I feel, what I sense, and just really mediumship is a lot about trusting, just trusting your intuition, trusting the little sensations that you get, whether that's visuals, hearing, feeling, knowing. Um, so that's what I'm doing right now. And right off, I feel like this is a gentleman. He feels male. Let's see. I am feeling like he is an older gentleman. This feels like father to me. Is your father passed, Sharon?
No.
Okay. Then this must be grandfather. I'm getting grandfather on father's side. Is your grandfather on your
Okay.
father's side passed? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and the way that I got that is through a feeling, like I felt this kind of fatherly energy within my body. And so um, that's what led me to think that this is father. But if she says that father is not passed, then grandfather has also got that fatherly energy. So just kind of explaining. Um, so let's see here what he wants to share about himself first. I'm getting definitely like a hard worker throughout his life is what I'm getting. Like from the time he was little all the way till the end, I felt like he was just a man. he didn't have to go, go, go like fast, but he was like a go, 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 like I just got to keep moving. like, like that's the energy that I feel. And it was definitely more about work, about responsibilities is what I'm feeling. Um, that, yeah, he was just someone that felt responsible for not just himself and his family, but I even feel like almost like a greater, not full community, but just broader, broader than just himself and his family. I feel like had some duty to the community as well. And so like there was that in there. Um was he in the military at one point?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
earlier, I don't feel like he was a career military, but he's shown
Right.
me that
Yeah.
he was that had a stint in the military. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Um So that I feel like is also part of that drive, like, it was already in him, but it just got kind of concreted, I feel like, even after the military, it's like, "Okay, now I have to do these things, they're, like, my duty."
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yep.
um,
Makes sense. Mhm.
let's see here. And I don't feel like you 2 were particularly close. I feel like maybe you'd meet up every once in a blue moon, but it doesn't feel like you were always like around him too much. Like, yeah, I'm just getting
Right. We lived in
occasional
different.
visits.
Yeah, we were in different cities, and he passed when I
Okay,
was in middle school. So.
I gotcha. Okay, because yeah, I don't feel like too many connections throughout your life with him, but there were some connections. Um, and he makes me feel like he was like I say, like, old school grandpa, like, I'll let the grandma talk more than me when the kids are around. Like, I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just kinda sit back and observe, but I'm not really connecting with the children a lot or the grandchildren a lot. So, is that how he was?
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. I can't remember much, but yeah, he did. I just remember him sitting in a chair and kind of just chilling
Sitting
out.
back observing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, let's see here. And he's showing me that in his house there was like it kind of feels like those built-in shelves like on the wall, where it'd have like little knickknacks of sorts. Like it felt like they were sentimental to like him and your grandmother, like different things, but also
Mhm.
that you kids might come in, like, just kinda look at them or just notice, like, "Ooh," and, be able to pick them up, but not really play with them. He's like, "Don't play with them," but, like, you can look. Did you remember that? Like,
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff like that. And
uh
after he passed, my grandmother, she held on to a lot of stuff. So she had all that stuff in her apartment. I remember that more as an adult. But yeah, and they had like a storage, like a tool place outside that he had a lot of stuff, like just a lot of stuff.
yeah, like, sentimental, like, "I gotta remember this, I gotta
Yeah.
remember that," but, yeah, that was, like, lined up on shelves, and it just felt like those shelves were, yeah, inside the wall, like, those built in the wall shelves, so, yeah, um that's what he's bringing to. Let me see. Yeah, just that, like, he just kind of reiterating, like, they were meaningful, they meant something, like, different things meant something. Um, it wasn't just for show or just stuff, like,
Yeah, yeah, true.
let's see. And I feel like he wanted to come forward for you today, Sharon. Let me see what he's bringing here. He's kind of bringing up the things on the shelf. Um, okay, because he's saying that it feels like you've been taken some time to like and talking about astrology, we're in Mercury retrograde right now. And it's like you've been just kind of taking some time to revisit or think about your journey so far, and where you're at, where you've how you got here, that type of thing, like just kind of a little life review. I don't feel like super deep, but it's just like a little.
Yeah.
Um and so but he's just I feel like wanting to come forward because he's making me feel like you haven't put all the knickknacks on your shelf that you could. Like you're only trying to look at the trophies, is what I'm getting. Like, what are the big milestones that I've had in my life? And he really wants you to take a look at the smaller things too, because those matter as well. And it's the it's the small trips where you got out of your comfort zone, where you took time to reach out to people and connect in different ways. But because it's like you've only done the bigger things. Like I've only reviewed like the bigger things. The
Yeah.
the trophy type things, but he's like, these little accomplishments are also really big. So those connections with people, those small trips or those small acts of courage for yourself to like get out of your comfort zone, like that deserves a memento on your shelf, like when you look at your life. And so
Nice.
um don't discount those is what he's really wanting to bring, because he's like, there's a lot of little things that need to be on that shelf too. And that's what I feel like he did is I kind of commemorized all my little wins too, and so
Yeah.
that's why I had so much stuff, is like it wasn't just the big things, like there was a lot of small wins or small things that I wanted to remember because that was important in my journey, and he does make me feel like he lived, when he looked at his life, he felt very fulfilled. Like I lived a really good life, and it was because I take took note of those little milestones as
Oh,
well, and those little courages that I had to put myself out there and to or those little experiences of connecting with people, um even if it was for short moments, like I wanted to remember that because it was special and it was important. So yeah, he's just
wow.
just encouraging you to
I love that.
add more things to your shelf. As you're doing your review, because there's a lot, and he's like, that's it's important that you see that and take that in for yourself. Those are wins. So yeah,
I love that
very
much.
um and he's just saying with the work that you do too, like every child that you've helped open up, that you've helped crack open, there's a spot there, like don't discount those because they add up. And even if it's two or three at a time, it's like it adds up. So put those on there. So
Okay.
yep,
Yeah.
very important.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
And then once I feel like I've fully connected, then I just thank him for showing up in my head. I invite him to leave my space. I feel his energy move out. Then I take a moment and I clear the space around me so I don't feel any more connection to anything except my own energy. And then I call my energy back into my body with just my mind, my intention. And that's how
Wow.
it goes.
That's so fun. Cool.
Yes, I know. Love it.
Yeah. It's interesting because he came through when I had that first session with you. He was the first one that came through,
Ah,
uh,
okay.
that one time, and, I was not expecting that at all because 'cause I've never had anybody speak of him in any session that I've had, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's grandfather, okay." Uh, so do you find we're gonna wrap up here, but just a question, like, do you find that, like, when you do readings with somebody that comes to you a lot, that a certain ancestor comes through you a lot, or, like, do different ones come through each time, or is it just, like, somebody wanting a certain one? I guess it's kinda depends on.
Yeah. So, yeah, it does depend, so for me, what I found and again, that's why every medium is different, like, it depends on your intention as the medium. For me, I call in past loved ones that come forward with a message that's relevant to whatever the person's currently going through. So if an ancestor has an experience or a certain personality that has to do with that type of message, or what the person's currently going through, if they can understand that, then that's when that ancestor will come through. Um, so yeah, it really just depends. Sometimes if I have like a client that's come a lot, then um, they might get the same people, occasionally, but a lot of times it's different, because everyone's in a different spot each time they come to me, and
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
um, just depending on where they're at and what message wants to come through, um, yeah, if there's an ancestor that was more encouraging and they need encouragement, then that ancestor will come through, but if there's someone that, had a certain thing like your grandfather where it's like, "Here's my shelf, here's this and this and this," and, it's like, well, he had that energy that I took time to, like, set up mementos around my life, and that's something you're currently doing, so the energy matches, so that's why he came forward, as opposed to maybe someone else that you might have been closer to,
Mhm.
um, he related to the message that he was trying to send to you first, so or the best, and so that's why he
Yeah.
came through. So, yeah, it
Uh,
for me anyway, it just depends on who's the best person to deliver whatever message is wanting to be delivered right now. But if you're a medium doing readings and your intention is just to connect people to the closest relative that they miss the most, then you might get the same person over and over again if you stick with that same medium, because maybe you were
okay.
the closest to your grandmother, and so then your grandmother always shows up with that medium,
Mhm.
because that's her intention is to connect you to your closest deceased ancestor. So, yeah, just
Okay.
depends.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love it. So fun. Well, thank you so much for taking time to be here and have this fun conversation and show your skills to the audience. I'll put your link to your classes and services on here and Facebook. Do you have Instagram?
Yes. I don't do much with social
Ins-
media yet. I'm working on doing more, so there should be more coming out
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Well,
But
people can
yes, I
find
have
you. Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, so
Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thank you. I'll let you go about your weekend and I'll see you in
awesome.
a few weeks.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.